Active Directory is much like DNS in that it provides large organizations with key features that are absolutely necessary. Active Directory is basically a structured user group and object database that allows users to log in and have a centralized control for permissions. Now, the reason this is so important is if I want user A to be able to get on 7 different servers, then there needs to be a central authority for that, and that's what Active Directory provides for us. Now, the reason this is so important for us as hackers is that it contains records in that database for all users, groups, servers, workstations, and sites, and even additional information associated with DNS. So, if it contains all of that, that definitely raises my eyebrow as a place where I might be able to gain information about the network and potentially use that as a point of attack. So, with that in mind, we need to be familiar with the fact that in Active Directory and its directory structure, any user that exists in the Active Directory structure has read permissions to the entire database across the board. They may not be able to change anything, but they have read permissions everywhere, which is really all we need because we're looking to gain information at this point. We're not making any moves yet, so this is a great point for us to gain info. Active Directory uses the standard LDAP protocol, which means anything that's LDAP enabled could potentially gain access to that database. And the primary utility used by most system administrators is something called ldp.exe, and it's something provided by Microsoft as a simple LDAP manager. And now, keeping in mind, this is one example of a simple LDAP client. There are literally thousands of LDAP clients out there that you can download from anywhere. The great thing is, depending on the level of hardening that has been performed against the Active Directory database, you may be able to authenticate with no permissions at all, or possibly guest with no password. Now, bearing in mind that although this may not always be possible, it would only take one compromised Active Directory account for you to enumerate the entire company with every user, group, and computer across the board. So, a very common technique used out in the field is to combine the knowledge of Active Directory with the knowledge of exploits and hacking tools and hack a single workstation that may not be locked down very well and compromise their Active Directory account. Once that's done, you can authenticate to the Active Directory tree using that compromised account and basically download the database to a flat text file and use that to further exploit that network. So even though Active Directory may not allow you to make changes to it, and that's why a lot of administrators overlook this as a security point, we can actually go in and use that information for further discovery and exploitation across the board.